Running with Chaz, well, before everything happened, he's always one to lead the pack, and he doesn't like to give up the lead. And he didn't very many times. We always get the the title put on as we were high school rivals, but we were high school rivals who were also friends. I knew our league championship was going to be a battle to the end. Those final probably 50 meters, I don't think I've ever run that fast in my entire life.
Go, go, push it all the way, push it, awesome job, awesome job, awesome.
Well, I remember some of those races in high school. I could never watch them with my wife because she'd get kind of crazy and kick me and she'd scream and I would say, I don't know that lady, but it was a fun time, you know. It was something that we kind of, get together and we'd go to all his races.
I remember seeing him as a young boy just running around Grafton, and being a marathon running coach, I immediately was drawn to him and his technique, and I think his discipline at such a young age.
Brian is a year ahead of Charles, and they went up against each other many times in high school. You know, just really solidified a friendship that's continuing now in college.
Hopefully they'll be lifelong friends.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Going to Hartford was, I'd say it was a choice that had a lot to do with Brian already going there for a year. Just the whole crew there, the whole running team was just, I saw how close they were, and that really was appealing to me. It was pretty much nearing the end of my freshman year, and everything was going well for me. Running was going well, school was going well. One day I just woke up and went to class, and it looked like a camera flash had gone off in my right eye. By that night, the vision in my right eye started to just slowly fade away a little bit.
So I drove to Hartford, and on the way there, his doctor called me and said, just go to the emergency room.
Numerous optometrists, ophthalmologists, neuro-ophthalmologists all came in, and they had no idea what could be wrong with my eye. I ended up just going back to doing what I was doing, running, doing schoolwork and everything.
Towards the end of that, he, I guess, started having some issues with his other eye, which was really scary.
Finally, they came back to me with a diagnosis that they found through blood work, showing that it's a disease called Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy.
Leber's optic atrophy, as it's called in the later stages, is an inherited form of an optic neuropathy, so affecting the optic nerve in both eyes. What patients experience is often what they describe as a rapid deterioration in vision.
And one night he came home and just handed me his car keys and started crying. And I was crying with him.
At first I was worried that people would look at me as just a blind kid. Really now I see that all my friends just look at me as Chaz. Without Brian, without all my friends here, I just wouldn't be here, plain and simple. One day I just woke up and said, if I don't just go out and do life like I did, then I never will. Even though I can't run cross country right now, I still go to all the meets to support them, just how they support me in all my life endeavors.
Here we go, Fairfield, get up there. Come on, Nick, pick it up, Nick, pick it up, buddy.
The fact that he just goes and cheers still, even though I'm sure probably deep down he wishes he was out there too, just kind of means the world to us that he's able to get out there and he still wants to do it, and he still runs too. That's the whole thing, is given his condition, he still goes out there and runs.
My goal right now is to run the 5K for the Paralympics. I pretty much do 2 a days, and I'll do maybe 4 to 5 miles in the beginning and then again in the evening.
Last May, Brian and Rourke came to Grafton to run this race with him, the Grafton Gazebo Road Race, and it meant a lot to Charles to be able to run in this race again.
There was just a roar in the crowd, just because they were just so taken back and just so astonished about how Chaz has been hit with this condition, yet he can still do, you know, what he loves to do and what basically he's known for in the town of Grafton.
You know, having coached 20,000 runners, you can imagine I've seen a lot of inspirational things, but you know, being in front of Chaz and his two teammates on that day was certainly at the top of the list.
I would take this on myself if I could in a heartbeat. But then I realized this is part of who he is now.
He has been, over these past couple of years, an inspiration to even me. People think that, well, I don't know how you get up in the morning. I don't know how you really cope with that. And he says, they just really don't know who I am. So, pretty proud of that.
You're looking at a kid who virtually lost his sight overnight. He's a fighter and he's just gonna keep staying in the ring, keep going more rounds, because that's just who he is.